It's not bottom surgery. It's mutilation. You've Islamicized your genitals. You've Islamicized yourself. Muslims do genital mutilation for women that have sex or commit adultery. That's what Muslims do. You are Islamicizing your genitals.
Oh, there's our friend Oklahoma Senate candidate Jayar Jackson. He's back again. He shot up a printer and then also sharpened a knife while he was doing his campaign ad. He's back in the news again. He's now talking about how bottom surgery, now he's gonna connect transgender folks to now Islam in a hateful ways where, I mean, he's just gonna cross promote everything that he can at the same time. And apparently this type of stuff works. It's like exponential type of thing. So he's talking about how it's mutilation. Bottom surgery is mutilation, just like that whole thing with Muslims and genital surgery at birth. Weird how that works, because I think Christianity has a connection to that as well. Let's check it out with circumcision in Christianity. So in Judaism, the covenant of circumcision is one of the most universally observed commandments. The commandment to circumcise was a covenant made with Abraham and is recorded in Genesis chapter 17, verses 10 through 14. The biblical explanation of this commandment states quite clearly that the circumcision acts as an outward physical sign of the eternal covenant between God and the Jewish people. The religion decrees the penalty of spiritual excision or karet for a person who is uncircumcised, regardless of how observant they have been otherwise of the laws of Judaism. There's been this pushback from maybe it's just the lip circles I've been in, just the fact that I'm in California, pushing back against circumcising boys at birth, because it was just a widely normal thing. And it'd be like, oh, it's for cleanliness. Oh, it's for Christianity. Oh, it's for godliness, all these things. And now that the pushback is happening, there's a bit of a debate because people were so used to these things. And I don't remember it being, oh yeah, you know how Islam tells us to circumcise our children. That was never one of the things that was talked about. But for some reason, Jayar Jackson here can do that. And I don't know how many followers would listen to him. He's not big enough of a name yet, I don't think. But we'll see if this picks up steam.
Yeah, so Islam is just a trigger word. That's the only reason that he connected these two things is Islamifying your genitals. That's all it is. It's just a trigger word. The same way that they think Allah and God mean something totally different, but Allah just means God. So they'll go on these protests where they're like, screw Allah, and they're trying to shame just the Muslim faith, but all they're really saying is screw God, and they don't know these things. But more importantly, who cares, man? Like, let people live their lives. These people act like, whether it be transgender issues or whether it just be homosexuality, one of the two, they act like it's some type of thing that will spread. Like they're just gonna wake up and next thing you know, like, let people do what they want to do. Who cares? We have economic issues. We have so many issues within our law enforcement system, our prison system. Our education system's a mess, our healthcare system's a mess. Who cares? Let people do what they want to do. But of course, just like we pointed out in the last story, it's all about the culture wars because that allows them to not focus on policy.
Well, if they have to deal with those policies, they have to do something about it. And a lot of times it would have to deal with reallocating funds, shifting the way that we do things. And they've been paid off by the richest of our country to make sure that doesn't happen. So they can't address those types of issues because if they address it, their points have to either be, we're gonna stay with the folks that are paying us or we're gonna go with our constituents. And they can't let the constituents know that. So instead, they have to fire up the constituents on things like this. I guarantee you, anyone like Jayar Jackson doesn't know when someone in Nebraska, Florida, Arkansas, California, New York, New Mexico gets bottom surgery. And if they do, your heart doesn't get dashed. No one sticks a proverbial knife in your chest and twists it. It doesn't hurt. Why, to your point, why do they care so much about someone else's life? Even to the point where they say, you know what percentage of transgender folks regret the surgery afterwards? Why do you care? Why do you care? I thought they're godless, horrible humans and they shouldn't be here anyway. Why do you care? You start pushing points like that as if you care when the whole point is you're using them as a bludgeon to go after someone else so you can get into office. You notice all this stuff happens this way only when it's that, but when it's a personal situation, when it comes from women's right to choose to things like judicial nominees and things like that, if it's on their side, it's all good. When it comes to the other way, it's an issue every time. It's an issue about things that actually don't connect to their lives. They need to start dealing with things that are connected to them, and then maybe we'll progress as a country. But they're stuck hating on someone else.
And not just that, but a very small percentage of the population.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like transgenders are not a big portion of the US population. So it's like you're hyper focused on a group of people that you probably never even see. I live in New York, I live up in the New York area, you live in California. We see much more openness in the LGBTQ community, but these people live in like Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas. You're not seeing transgenders pretty much anywhere you go. So it's an issue that literally does not impact them in any way whatsoever at all.
And anytime that they may come across someone who they think is someone they're supposed to hate, then they get all excited and angry and freaked out. Who's the one that's fragile here? Which one is the snowflake? The one who's affected by someone's life and existence? Calm down.